Joining me now is a legal expert from this century who is an attorney general who was a part of those three lawsuits that I told you about. He is the Nevada Attorney General Aaron Ford, one of the state AGs involved in lawsuits against the Trump administration. Attorney General Ford, good to see you again. Thank you for coming to the Sunday show.
Thank you, Jonathan. Great to see you.
Okay, let me get your reaction to that tweet from earlier today from the Vice President of the United States and what he had to say about judges.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's ludicrous to contend that a judge does not have the ability to institute the checks and balances that our Constitution contemplated. But let's back up and level set a little bit, Jonathan, if you will. I want folks to understand that, for example, as Attorney General, I oversee a budget of hundreds of millions of dollars in my state. When I was the minority leader in the state Senate and the majority leader in the state Senate, I was responsible for budgets of billions of dollars. And so I understand the need for ensuring that we can root out fraud and waste and inefficiency. That's not the problem. It's like my mother used to say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. In this instance, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And what he is doing and how he is doing it is unlawful. That's why we've been able to prevail thus far in court on this suit and others as well.
Something that came to mind, the lawsuits that you have helped to bring, were they generated out of your office, or are these lawsuits in reaction to hearing from constituents, hearing from Nevadans who are upset about any number of things that the Trump administration is doing, or both?
Absolutely both. And the fact of the matter is birthright citizenship was an issue that in which he violated the Constitution within 6 hours of being inaugurated. And I immediately began to hear from constituents who had already had concerns before he was elected, and certainly had those concerns arise immediately after the executive order. We received hundreds, if not 1,000 complaints about the access that Elon Musk and his so-called Doge would have to their personal private information by virtue of this arrangement with the Department of Treasury. And that's why we sprung to action with attorneys general from across the nation to protect our respective constituencies from this unconstitutional act.
How confident are you that in each of the cases that you're involved in, that Nevada is involved in, will prevail?
Frankly, I'm entirely confident. We pick and choose what we think we need to get engaged in. I have said from the beginning that to the victor goes the spoils. Mr. Trump won the election. He has the right to enact his policies, but he must do so lawfully. When he does not act in a lawful manner, whether it's violating statutes or violating the Constitution, I will not only meet him in court, I will defeat him in court. And we have demonstrated that already 3 times in a matter of a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And so to the extent Mr. Trump continues to violate the law, he can expect that Democratic attorneys general will show up, defeat him in court, and protect the rule of law, because that's all that matters in the context of our particular perspectives.
Now, that confidence, I can understand, might be well placed now that you're in the lower courts. But how confident are you that as these cases bubble up through the judicial system, that if some of these cases land before the Supreme Court, that you will still prevail, given the 6-3 conservative supermajority?
Listen, we're not oblivious to the reality that this court leans a bit more conservative and, in fact, has been stacked by this current president. But we remain confident in the rule of law. In your opening monologue, you said, sir, the founding fathers would have something to say to you. I believe that the founding fathers would also speak to the Supreme Court in the same way to remind them of the responsibility that they have to protect the rule of law against these overarching, unconstitutional and illegal actions that this president has been undertaking thus far.
Nevada Attorney General Aaron Ford, one of the many Democratic attorneys general suing the Trump administration. Thank you very much for coming to the Sunday show, and keep us posted on how things are going.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan.
All right. Besides